Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. I'm Nick Sturdivant. You're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Thank you for spending your afternoon with us. We have a busy show ahead today. We have a lot going on, a lot of live things going on right now, and that's the point of Live Impact News. We want to take you to things that are happening right now. So I don't want to waste any more time. I want to send you out to Greensboro, where right now Governor Josh Stein, Attorney General Jeff Jackson, and other North Carolina leaders are having a press conference. Let me show you that live. That's happening right there in Greensboro. And they're at the Guilford County Family Justice Center in Greensboro to bring attention to the issue of sexual assault and to the governor's proposed cold case unit to address unsolved sexual assault cases. Now, Governor Stein will also present a proclamation designating April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Right there on your screen is Attorney General Jeff Jackson speaking. Let's listen in.
% right. The rape kit backlog was a major problem. It became a major priority for my predecessor. I can't remember his name. It'll come to me. And then that mission was accomplished. I want you to know that under my leadership, we're going to maintain a very close eye on this. It will continue to be a major priority. I've had a chance to have extensive meetings with folks at our state crime lab to talk about this, as well as a host of other issues. There is no question that this is an epidemic. We are going to use every tool at our disposal to meet this challenge. Last week I had a roundtable with a lot of service providers, folks who you are probably familiar with, and organizations with whom you all probably work on a regular basis. And they gave me their view of what is happening on the ground right now. And they told some stories. And I think this is a matter where it's not just enough to give the numbers. The stories are what really connect with people. We have a handful of matters that are of extreme high priority, a handful of cases that I've been recently briefed on that have our total focus and commitment. So I just want folks to know that while we do speak often in terms of metrics, we're focused on people's lives. And we have people who you all may never meet at the crime lab or at another NCDOJ facility that work extremely hard on behalf of individuals, not metrics, but individuals across the state, because that's where their heart is. And if you're in this room, you do this for a living, that's where your heart is too. So NCDOJ has your back, and we hope that you have theirs. And we are delighted to be here. Family justice centers are the way of the future, and we see them spreading across the state. And we're very grateful that this county has made such an investment. And to the taxpayers of this county, I would say, job well done. You did the right thing to support this effort here. This is going to be something that produces dividends for you, your family, your community for decades. Thank you all very much. And I think, Valerie, you're up next.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Valerie Patterson, and I am a quilter, a writer, and a grandmother. I am also a survivor of sexual assault and a volunteer with the Guilford County Family Justice Center. I'm here because I do not want any woman, any survivor, to have to navigate through the aftermath of this horrific experience alone. In 1981, when I was in my 20s, I was violently raped. While over 40 years ago, I will never forget the terror I felt. Being held at knife point, I was so terrified that I was going to die. I tried to fight him off, but he had control. After he raped me, I called the police and then went to the hospital. In 1981, there was no DNA testing that could help the police find my assailant and prevent other rapes. Thankfully, that is no longer true. Initially, I couldn't identify my assailant in the hundreds of mugshots that I saw. I felt paralyzed by fear and trapped in my emotional turmoil. He raped two other women. Fortunately, one of the other victims was able to identify him in a mugshot. I then identified him myself. Once he was in custody, the district attorney was our only contact. There was no victim advocate to guide us through the court process until he was convicted almost 2 years later. While we didn't have an advocate or anything close to what the Family Justice Center offers today, we 3 victims had each other. In 1983, our rapist was convicted, and we felt justice was served. But that's not the end of my story of sexual assault. The trauma of that horrific night was securely tucked inside me. For decades, I buried my emotions and tried to hide what happened to me. A few years ago, I ran into one of the women who testified at the criminal case. Reuniting with her initially triggered my trauma, and the emotions of my assault creeped out. I could no longer hide from my past, but found comfort in our relationship. She encouraged me to tell my story. I mentioned I'm a quilter, and in 2019, I spent 4 months crafting this quilt. I call it Hell and Hope. The process of creating the knife I faced and the fiery hell in fabric and thread was a cathartic experience for me. The hand in the quilt is holding my trauma, and the butterfly on the fingertip is guiding me toward hope. Now, this quilt is dedicated to all victims and survivors of sexual assault. My journey included justice, which is not the case for every survivor. Assailants must be caught and held accountable. Collecting DNA evidence is key, but more critical is processing the rape kits, and I appreciate the backlog being taken care of. Also is pursuing the cases as quickly as possible. Victims deserve justice. Partnerships between advocates, law enforcement, district attorneys, medical professionals, counselors, and more are critical. This place, the Guilford County Family Justice Center, is designed to provide a blanket of needed services to victims and their families. Together, we can help victims become survivors on their pathway to healing and solace. Victims and survivors, you are not alone. Help and hope are here. Thank you.
What a powerful story shared, and what a beautiful depiction of hope. Thank you, Valerie. Welcome to the Family Justice Center. We are so honored to host the Governor and Attorney General and Secretary of Administration and Secretary of Public Safety and so many more amazing leaders in North Carolina. Thank you so much for being with us. As you've heard, the Family Justice Center is a one-stop shop. One place where survivors of child abuse, domestic violence, sexual assault, elder abuse, human trafficking, and stalking can come. Through our partnership, we provide comprehensive wraparound services to survivors and their families and work strategically to hold offenders accountable. We create communities for survivors through our intentional collaboration with the goal to always foster hope, healing, and justice. This June marks our 10th anniversary. Our partnership, that is worthy of applause. Our partnership has truly transformed Guilford County and beyond. To date, almost 100,000 survivors have come through our doors, getting life-saving medical, legal, social, advocacy, and peer support services. In addition, through our extensive collaboration with our partners in public safety and criminal justice, We have increased offender accountability and enhanced the safety of all residents in Guilford County. It is my honor to introduce Governor Stein. I had the opportunity to work with him when he was the Attorney General and was really moved by his leadership in addressing the sexual assault backlog. And I'm so thankful for his leadership in North Carolina. Welcome, Governor Stein.
Katherine Johnson is an impressive human being. And in fact, I'm going to pat myself on the back because I had the wisdom to give her a Dogwood Award 2 years ago for the incredible services that she provides to the people of Guilford County. It was wonderful to take a tour of the Family Justice Center. Thank you for being here, Secretary Esparza, District Attorney Crump, Attorney General Jeff Jackson, my successor. Who is my successor? Jeff Jackson. Catherine, good to see all the distinguished guests and friends here who make such a difference in the safety and well-being of our people. I do want to say a special word to you, Valerie, for your bravery. I mean, to be able to stand up in front of a crowd, stand up in front of television cameras and talk about what was likely the worst time of your life takes a unique form of bravery, and it takes a compassionate heart who wants to do everything you can so that other people don't experience the pain you did. And your expression of your liberation from your pain is just incredible. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
There are so many organizations, so many partners in this building working together to provide wraparound support to people when they most need it. It's really an impressive thing to watch. If you are here, you can talk to a victim advocate. You can get help filing a restraining order. You can receive medical care. You can talk to law enforcement. You can find information about a shelter where you can go to be safe. Even more. The work that is done here to save lives and improve lives is truly impressive, and we all collectively thank you, Catherine, and the Family Justice Center. So let's do that. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Approximately 80% of women at some point in their lives experience sexual assault or sexual harassment. 20% experience an actual assault. 3% of men experience a sexual assault. We have to take this issue seriously because all North Carolinians deserve to be and feel safe. Last year, as we've heard, we cleared the backlog of untested rape kits, what had been the largest backlog in the entire nation. We tested approximately 12,000 kits. Those kits were then connected to 2,700 hits in the CODIS database. And so far, there have been more than 250 arrests. And I want to underscore so far, because there is more work to be done. Every one of those hits is a lead. It takes a cold case and makes it very warm. We have to pursue those leads to make sure that we're doing everything in our power to find those perpetrators, hold them accountable, take them off the streets where they cannot hurt anyone else, and finally deliver justice to survivors. It was a bipartisan and collaborative effort that produced this achievement. Republican and Democratic legislators, district attorneys, law enforcement officers, scientists at the State Crime Lab, they all played a critical role in clearing the backlog. But I don't believe we would have been able to do any of it if it had not been for the advocates. The survivors of sexual assault, just like Valerie, bravely testified in the General Assembly about their experiences and the urgency of our finally tackling the backlog. It's because of their courage that we can bring justice to survivors and put rapists behind bars. Ending the backlog was only that first step. We need to pursue every lead that has been discovered. That's why in my budget, I've asked the General Assembly to fund a cold case unit of investigators at the State Bureau of Investigation. Here's the thing, our law enforcement is overburdened. They're stretched. There are sexual assaults that happened yesterday, that happened last week, that happened a month ago, and inevitably they have a higher priority than one that happened 15 or 20 years ago. But that doesn't mean we should not pursue those cases, and law enforcement are pursuing the cases, but we can help them if we have this specialized unit at the State Bureau of Investigation to work with local law enforcement. I intend to continue to do everything in my power to help law enforcement solve cold cases so that we can get offenders off the streets. It's never too late to hold a rapist accountable and bring justice to a victim of this heinous crime. In addition to the budget proposal, Secretary Esparza laid out the work that happens in the Department of Administration with our Council for Women and Youth Involvement. They fund sexual assault programs in 96 of North Carolina's 100 counties. They do critical and life-saving work, offering counseling, 24-hour crisis lines, transportation, and court and advocacy services. Like Secretary Esparza said, these recipients of the grants end up touching the lives of thousands of North Carolinians, including children and teenagers. Last year, the organizations did 2,500 group sessions for survivors, many of which, a quarter of which, were for children. We are proud to partner with the many nonprofits across the state toward these shared goals, including the North Carolina Coalition Against Sexual Assault, led by longtime champion State Representative Monica Johnson-Hostler. Each of us has a role in reducing the number of people who suffer from this terrible crime. That's why I am proud to proclaim April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month, so that we can raise awareness of this ongoing issue and commit ourselves to educating our communities to recognize it so that we can stop it. Let's all do our part to create a safer, stronger, healthier North Carolina where none of us live in fear of violence. It is my honor to sign the proclamation now. Thank you all. I'll be happy to take some questions.
Okay. Thank you so much.
And you can direct the questions to any of us, and we're happy to do our best if there are any.
Governor.
Yes.
Kevin Griffin with the Recent Record.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you about, I guess, one of the big news stories of the day, which is the tariffs going into effect nationally.
Yeah.
What do you see as the impact those will have in North Carolina, and does the state have any response plan for those?
Yeah, well, I'm gravely concerned, like most everyone else. Tariffs will raise the costs on consumers at a time when folks are already struggling with things costing too much. Similarly, we have a lot of businesses that do a lot of exports. Agriculture, the number one industrial sector in North Carolina, a quarter of all agricultural products are sold abroad. When you start a trade war, the other countries will raise the tariffs on our products, making it harder for us to sell to them. All the costs of all the manufacturing that goes on in this state, the inputs that we get from other countries, are going to increase costs. I'm really concerned about the impact of tariffs on Western North Carolina's recovery. The federal government, we have $1.4 billion from HUD to do housing reconstruction. That's the pie. If each slice of the pie costs 20% or 30% more, that means there will be 20 to 30% fewer homes that we're able to help, families that can get back into their homes. So I am really concerned about the impact of tariffs on people's lives. I'm also concerned that we seem to be on the edge of a potential recession. All the economists are saying that the likelihood of recession has dramatically increased. I urge the president to walk back from these trade wars. I urge the Congress to exercise the authority that the Constitution gives them, which is to have ultimate say on whether tariffs are imposed.
Governor Stein, Joshua Davis, WXII 12 News, thank you for your time. You mentioned a cold case unit. I'm curious, can you elaborate a little bit more about that? What resources can you allocate to them that'll make them effective?
The State Bureau of Investigation exists to support local law enforcement on investigations when requested. And what I want is to have a dedicated group at the State Bureau of Investigations who are experienced sexual assault investigators, who know how to do this work in a trauma-informed way. They know how to interact with victims in a way that provides them support as well as solving the crime. They can also train local law enforcement across the state. And I think if we have those specialized investigators, we will see dramatically an increase in the number of these cold cases that get solved, and that will put more dangerous people behind bars where they cannot hurt anyone else.
Is this the first of its kind?
That I don't know. I know that actually local law enforcement often has sexual assault units, but this would be dedicated to just helping on these cold cases and whatever other sexual assault cases that local law enforcement has. Anything else?
Okay, great. Thank you. We're going to do some photos. We're going to do our speakers first. If y'all want to pop up. If somebody can help me with this podium, I'd greatly appreciate it. You got to move it this way.
Thank you so much.
Just push it in the corner.
Thank you.
You're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Nick Sturdivant. There, you're watching live as a press conference just wrapped up with Governor Stein, Attorney General Jeff Jackson, and other state leaders talking about unsolved sexual assault cases, bringing awareness. Actually, Governor Stein proclaiming and designating April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So that press conference just wrapped up. He also took some questions when it comes to what's going on nationally, especially with the tariffs and the impact on North Carolina.